Alright, good evening ladies and gents, welcome back to Compound Interesting. In today's video I want to give my opinion on whether or not we're setting up for an epic rally now that everyone's completely bearish and everything's going insane, and because we got that massive little V shape which I'll talk about. And if we do go into this epic rally in crypto and in the stock market, how exactly I would play that scenario. So first of all, as you might be aware, we got another piece of bad news. CPI came in a little bit hotter than expected and markets dumped instantly, but just as quickly as they dumped, they came straight back out really fast and actually went higher than they were previously. So that's kind of a first indication that maybe we're looking at a bottom, and maybe a local bottom, or maybe even the bottom. I have no idea, but that's a kind of an indicator. When you're pumping on bad news, kind of gives a signal that maybe, okay, the sellers have run out here, they've nothing left to sell. So maybe if we get more bad news and we keep on pumping, that would kind of be more of a signal, or more of a confirmation of that signal that maybe, oh yeah, this looks like a potential bottom right here. The other thing that you might want to see in a bottom signal is, instead of like the prices just ranging across a certain price, what you want to see out of a bottom is a kind of a capitulation wick. So like it goes down but comes straight back up. If you see that maybe once or twice, that kind of might also indicate a bottom. Like, I'm not a super technical guy, but that's another potential indicator of a bottom. So like I mentioned, maybe the sellers are running out of assets to sell. One indicator of this is, again, we have the highest percentage of long-term Bitcoin holders in history at the moment. So basically people are running out of Bitcoin to sell. Like, who's left to sell Bitcoin below 20,000? Like, I know there could be people shorting it down, but kind of like everyone who wants to hold Bitcoin is holding Bitcoin. Like, there's probably very few people are going to capitulate at this stage. But obviously it could happen, but that's just another indicator. So as you've probably been aware for the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, there's just been max pessimism everywhere you look. Like I mentioned in my last video, when everyone is saying, everyone pretty much was like, oh, I'm stacking cash right now, I'm not buying in, I'm waiting for lower prices. When everyone is waiting for lower prices to buy, or everyone's waiting for a particular price to buy, the max pain scenario is not reaching that price at all. Just like a year ago when everyone, or 2 years ago, when everyone was waiting to sell their Bitcoin at 100k never came because everyone was waiting to sell there. So just like potentially in this scenario, everyone is waiting for like 10 to 15,000 to buy Bitcoin. Maybe we don't actually ever reach that point, because that would annoy the most people in the market, and that's generally how markets like to work. So how would I play out this scenario? So right now everyone is max bearish, everyone thinks the prices are going to go lower, everyone's stacking cash to buy in at those really low prices that they're hoping for, and everyone is shorting, everyone is buying put options, everyone's betting on the market to go down. Well, what happens if the market starts going up? Okay, well, all those shorts have to cover. There's huge amounts of shorts all throughout crypto, all throughout the stock market, all throughout tech stocks, etc., etc. All those shorts will have to cover if the stock market starts going back up, or if the crypto market starts going back up, and if put options start losing money as well. People start feeling a little bit of FOMO. They're like, oh, the markets are going back up. We're coming up to the end of the year. The hedge funds want to have a good year, and they'll look really bad if the markets have gone up quite a lot in the last few months and they stayed completely out of the markets. So they might have to pile into the markets. So in a situation like that, like my general strategy doesn't really change too much. It's just kind of DCA what I really believe in, especially when the prices I believe are good value or cheap. But in that kind of situation, if there is kind of a really, like, I'll still be DCAing, but if it gets too crazy, I'm not gonna. I might consider that to be a bit of a scam pump a little bit. So I might buy in a little bit as it starts going up, but if it starts getting really high, I might hold back and start stacking cash at that stage. Like, I wouldn't be fully convinced we're out of the woods just yet, unless, say, unless there's indications that the Fed is going to U-turn and start printing money, or there's indications, or it really happens, that there's some sort of peace treaty between Russia and Ukraine. Apart from those two situations, I wouldn't bet too much money on us coming straight out of this bear market or this recession. I think it will probably take a good bit longer, and we'll have plenty of time to DCA at really low prices. So I wouldn't be too carried away if the stock market starts pumping. I won't be like, oh quick, I better go buy loads quick, we're going to go back to the moon straight away. But in that situation, which I could see happening, I'd buy while I would always just say, okay, what are great assets that I want to own, and are they at good prices right now? And if they get too high too fast, I might scale back my investments, but I definitely wouldn't be selling at these prices. No matter, really, I don't see it getting to any prices that I'd be interested in selling. If we do get an epic rally for the next few months, I'll be DCAing a little bit, but I'll also be stacking cash and waiting, because I think we will have plenty of time to be, if there is some sort of scam pump out of the markets for a while, there will be a time to buy back in and start DCAing again. So I do think for the next year we're going to be blessed with getting all sorts of great assets at really cheap prices, like crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and certain tech stocks like Nvidia, Tesla, etc. I do think we will be blessed at having these stocks and investments at really great prices for the next couple of years. So we'll be continuing to DCA as much as I can, whenever I can. But if the prices get too high, like I mentioned, I'll probably scale back a little bit. But the best thing you can do for the next couple of years, DCA these great assets, increase your income if you can. Think about getting a second job, working on the weekends. You could work as a waiter, you could do little nixers for people, cut people's hedges, paint their houses, anything like that. Any little nixers that you can do. If you have any skill that you learned in your early 20s or your teens, that you could go knock around houses and just like, oh, do you want me to power wash your driveway? I don't know, whatever. You have to think of that yourself. A little bit of extra cash, or ask for a raise in work. That would also be very beneficial, to have extra income coming in during these like deep value times when everything you're putting in right now is you're getting a lot more bang for your buck when you're looking 10 years out than you were a couple of years ago. So I've been doing little nixtures myself, and unfortunately this YouTube channel is no longer monetized because I took such a long break. But if it was monetized, that would be an example of something that you could do. But the other thing I'm doing is massively reducing my expenses. I'm not going on any more big holidays this year. I'm not going to as many restaurants as I used to. I'm cooking more for my girlfriend and stuff instead of bringing her out to a fancy restaurant. Just make her a really nice meal. She'll appreciate it just as much. And I'm also not buying like really fresh clothes or anything really. I'd love to be getting a new wardrobe all the time, but I'm just wearing old clothes, trying to reduce my expenses as much as possible. You can do all that kind of stuff, go to nice fancy restaurants, buying really fresh clothes, fresh jewelry, all that kind of stuff. You can do that in a bull market, but in a bear market I think it's best to just reduce your expenses as much as you possibly can. Don't go rent a real nice apartment or rent a really fancy house. Just rent somewhere cheap. Wait until the bull market, or wait until you're really set, or don't go getting a mortgage right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm just investing my money into what I think is going to have great returns over the next while. And all those big lump sum investments, I'm waiting for a few years anyway. So right now there's peak pessimism. Everyone expects the stock market to go lower. So I'm aping in as much as I possibly can. And if the stock market starts booming again, you have to do the counter trade. Okay, if the stock market starts booming again, okay, we're probably not fully out of this recession. It's probably a scam pump. We haven't really had we had one good bear market rally, but probably not the last one. I would be holding back a little bit in that scenario, but I as I said, ape it in as much as I possibly can, reducing my expenses as much as I possibly can, and just buying as much crypto as I possibly can. So that's all I got for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I really hope you learned something. If you have any video topics, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up and I'll see you later. Thanks.